Shalom, peace, everybody. Oh my gosh. So, let me get myself together because I'm a little too excited. Oh my goodness, glory, 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 glory. Okay. So, today I was called to speak in regards to where we are completely, right? First thing I'm going to start with is explaining to you the magician, right? The Bible tells you that, let me make sure my volume is up good for y'all. The scriptures tell you that Christ comes in on an ass, right? And the thing is an ass can be known as a donkey and things of that nature, but it is also esoteric for he comes in lacking nothing. Give me a second. So this, hold on, back it up and get some. This is the magician card in the Hermetic Tarot deck. Now, I've explained to you guys before because y'all are not, most of these people who are going to get this message and understand it, interpret it. Y'all not new to tarot because you know that it's the original Torah. It's also hieroglyphs, which are used to put many things in one picture at one time. So many messages. All of these are symbols. And because we are in the third dimension here on our planet that we call Earth, our interpretation of being able to express is minimal compared to the unlimited source we come from, right? So Christ coming in on an ask is this, an ass or a donkey. Esoterically, the donkey, let's break that down because I want to make sure we get precision with this. This is a very important message. Now, just to be clear, Christ is the duality of the masculine and the feminine in its divine force. However, when I'm speaking in regards to this, I'm talking about the masculine, should we say the Messiah or Osiris? Okay. You can call him Osiris, you can call him Amhotep, you can call him whatever floats your boat, because we know that he came as the mother in a multi-vessel, so many incarnations. He was David, he was Solomon, he was all of the divine masculine males that came here. All right, so donkey, spiritually, I'm gonna share my screen so y'all can check the receipts for yourself. Okay. So as presented on this screen, it tells you that the donkey is let me see, let me go with which one I'm doing. Okay, let's go with this one here because it is a little more detailed. So the donkey's spiritual meaning is symbolizes humility and service, often depicted as a beast of burden, carrying heavy loads without complaint or desire for recognition. Hold on. Oh my goodness, y'all don't get it. My son's name is Amos, and that's exactly what it means. One of my sons, because I got a couple kids around here. But to be a humble beast or to be a divine masculine, you come here to serve. This is how you could tell the difference. We live in a universe which is 99% feminine, 1% masculine. And the reason why is everything comes from the divine source. We know the divine source is everything, or should we say Eve? It's her. She's the divine source. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We are past the point of ego because ego ain't gonna spare nobody. You need ego, but when it comes to factuality and spirit, ego doesn't exist there because you are just, okay? Now, I said it to say when you come into this earthly realm, a part of analyzing who you are, whether it be divine masculine or divine feminine, because remember, all feminine is not divine. The storyline about Yaldabaoth and his laboratory and creation of other nations and other beings is in fact true. Not all beings come from the divine source in its primal existence. Primal meaning the beginning stages, the one that's been here since the beginning of all time and before earth and everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything comes from her. So even the wicked was created out of her substance. But are you the substance? Do you understand the difference? Okay. So when you are of the divine masculine, your job is service. And it is to carry the heavy load. Why? Because that's what you were created to do. Remember, I told y'all this is a feminine planet within a feminine galaxy, within a feminine womb of the universe. So we know that the 1% is a form of her creation. Masculinity is an energy. Women have masculine energy too. It's important to have both because the mother is everything. She's all. So the reality is coming here as a divine masculine, the reason why she even created her divine masculine counterpart is to be the doer. Masculinity is an action energy, moving energy, forceful energy. Spirit just is, okay? And out of what is, or Isis, or Aset, comes the action or the movement or the motions or the creation. This is why she's the alpha and the omega. They are the alpha and the omega. Okay. All right. So in the magician card, this card represents Egypt. In Egypt, we have Osiris and Isis. Now, I call Isis because I like to emphasize the word is, right? Because is means just she is the throne. All that performative shit that people be doing to pretend to be of her lineage or of her, you don't got to do that when you are the throne. No. I'm hearing a lot of noise about being brought back to the throne or giving the throne back to her, but she is the throne. You can't take something that just is. What we are here to do is resurrect that throne frequency, not be putting her on the throne, not being asked to be put on the throne because she is the throne. Now, so I say that to say, on the magician card, I have another deck that shows it in a feminine form. This is Osiris, okay? We know that the name is many. So this is also Horus because in the divine masculine form, he was already written into Isis's egg. So this entire realm that we looking at so-called we could say Mary, we could say the Israel, whatever name you want to use, right? Everything that we're looking at is a smaller emanation of the divine and total daughter. Put this back. Put it back. Put it back. And so that just what that's saying is that all the creation belongs to him and her. You come from what they call the Big Bang Theory. Okay, and so within the Big Bang is cosmic creation, because remember, we come from the Trinity, okay? That Trinity is all three, the mother, the father, and the child, okay? But if you want to get cosmic, it goes even further than that, okay? So we know that on the card, the magician, he has the four elements because she gives him the ability to create. The format to creation, like you hear the music band Earth, Wind, and Fire, is earth, It's all of the elements. It's four elements. On here, he has a wand for the element of fire. He got a sword for the element of air, which is speaking, or it can be used in other ways. He has a cup. He got a flower for the earth. He has a pentacle for the earth. All of everything, the cups for water. So all of the elements are within his hand. Now, the reason I'm starting off explaining to y'all the magician, because the original Egypt is in the Americas, okay? So what they told y'all, scratch all of that. We know from my channel, we already passed this, but I want to get a little bit more in details because I'm going somewhere with this that's much deeper. Now, Isis creates, remember, Egypt is one of the first emanations of physical manifestation on a higher frequency. I'm going to slow that down for you. This is the first card in the tarot deck, okay? Now, if you know anything about tarot or the Torah, zero is what gives birth to this. We know zero is the source of the unknown and the all. Hold on one second. Okay, and so zero is what gives birth to the one. Now, before we were colonized, we did not operate on what we have here now. The invaders came in and they brought to you something we call time. What time did was box you into a prison, okay? Now, keep in mind, we are in a womb, so this all happened within a womb, okay? Now, this is the reason why you have your second chakra is the color orange. I've broken this down on my channel already where I talked about orange being the color they put you in when you go to prison. That is a sign for the true divine mother and father. And I'm only saying father because we know when I say mother, she's everything, right? So she's the father, she's the son, she's the daughter, she's everything. But I want y'all to understand Osiris and who he is that they took the Jesus story from. Horus, whatever. And so yeah, so the orange for the sacral chakra, which is where you'll create, that's your creation chakra, your second chakra, is the color they put you in when you go to jail, and it's because it's symbolic. Everything that happens in this third dimension is symbolizing something that's going on above. It's symbolic for the imprisonment of the divine mother. If you put the divine mother or the source in bondage, absolutely her masculine counterpart would be in bondage too. Now, how do we break out? What was the bondage indicative of? First of all, this planet is a free will planet. This is a free will. Anything feminine is free will, by the way. So her free will blesses him to operate as well. Because if you have blockage in your belief, or should we say the chakra above that, remember we come from a trinity. So the third chakra is the solar plexus. That's the seat of the kundalini. It is her mitochondria that turns on the Earth's grid. Okay. It also turns on the galactic grid in the universe because it's all happening at once. Time is the prison they put you in. Time really does not exist. Okay. It's non-linear. Hi, daughter. Clean that up for me, daughter. Okay. And so I said that to say, in order for us to overcome this frequency of time, she is the one who has to do it first because she is the key to the resurrection of the Jesus story, or should we say Osiris? Because true enough, they knew what they had to do to overthrow this planet and this galaxy and universe. Keep in mind, it ain't just the planet that has been invaded, it was the entire grid, Trinity. Always 3-3. This is why the Tesla code is 369, because it's 3 all the way up to the 9. So let's go. I'm explaining to you guys about the third dimension because it has a lot to do with the magician, which is Isis and Osiris. Okay. Now, when we were in Egypt and we operated without the invaders, what happened is you did not have time being linear. Okay. So I'm gonna break it down for you on a level of basic shit because I'm a scientist and I really get off on science. It's one of my favorite things to speak about. That's why I be on space weather and shit so much. But I'm gonna try not to get too excited and give it to you a little bit low and slow. So it doesn't overtake you and you don't, misunderstand what I'm saying. So it says the real purpose of time was to give us a lag or a buffer zone. Listen, in magic, you are using the electromagnetic grid, okay, the mother, to manifest. I told y'all what is the code to manifestation. When a woman is in labor, I know this because I'm a doula and a student midwife right now currently. Shout out to me because I'm already on the way. Um, a woman is in labor in something we call the 411. Her contractions are 4 minutes long. I mean, she has contractions for, hold on, y'all, gotta slow myself down. 411. Okay, so it's the 4 minutes apart. Sorry, there we go. 4 minutes apart will represents the four elements. For 1 minute straight, the contraction lasts, and for 1 hour long, that is active labor. If you add that up, that's six. We know this realm is the realm of the 666, full manifestation, or AKA the slow down realm. So time was created to give you a buffer within your manifestation. Your manifestation, if you are the mother and the father's children, your manifestation should be like the speed of light, which it was in Egypt. There should not be any delay on your manifestation. So when you watch my video that I have called The Multiverse and the Grids, I break that down to you in regards to what the new earth would even look like. Everybody's talking about how we in the age of Aquarius and what that means, but it's the I speaking I am. How do you speak and you are? You'd have to have a certain level of frequency in order to tap into that. That means there will be no delay. That means that if I speak it, remember Aquarius is ruled by air, your throat chakra. So I speak it and it appears. I am, okay? That would be the name of the age or the code for the age. It's basically your transformative code to the mother and the father together because she is the I am as the source, but he is the I mean, she is the I and he is the am, right? Because he is both. She is both, but it goes back, think of it as a someone without a sex, okay? That's the code to the manifestation, right? So when you come to this prison or this earth, it is within your chakras, the seals that allow you to manifest the gifts of the Supreme, as Brother Abdullah would say. Now, why do we get put in a place of having this stagnation or a buffer zone? For one, it was because the invaders, they only operate on a low frequency. So to make the field level or to keep the gods from showing their true power, you got to understand, if we was not in this bucket of time or this prison of time, you would know exactly who the gods and the goddesses were because the work that they do would manifest so quick and it would be undeniable. You would know who is Adam and Eve's sons and daughters here, or who got the Adam Cat line, right? So now that we got that part down, I'm gonna go over here to something else. I don't need this. I was gonna show y'all this. So this is, I'm gonna read out of the Keys of Enoch. It's not on the screen. The mother gave me this as I was getting ready to come on, but it's very important to what I'm talking about when I speak about time. Remember, Trinity, that is very important because three is an important number. Your Kundalini seat is the seat or the chakra that lights up the way for all the rest of your chakras. And it is also the echo through universes. Everything has an echo, okay? And so on this earthly realm, we are emanations of the divine behind us, the galaxies and the higher cosmos. So remember, the keys to the universe is in Orion's belt. And we know that Orion is in the constellation of Taurus. If you did not know, I'm telling you. And so in the constellation of Taurus, or should we say Isis, the bull of heaven, Aset, okay, there's two main factors that open up the keys to the two divine realms. One opens up the keys to the galaxy, one opens up the keys to the earthly realm. The keys to the earthly realm are tied to the Palladians, okay? Which would mean the seven sisters. Or should we turn around and see the seals, your seven seals on your back? Your back. The mother and the daughter, sons and daughters. Not just anybody, because not everybody has this gift. Orion would be the constellation that connects you to the galaxies. When that opens up, the universe opens up. 1 second. Daughter. So, in order for them to take over and take the powers from the divine, they had to make the playing field even. This is the story that you read about Inanna. When they tell you about Inanna or Ishtar or Isis, because same deity, the name changes based on what the assignment is. So when Inanna went down to the underworld, she was going there to resurrect her masculine counterpart, right? And what they told her to do was strip, take off all your gifts, take off everything you came with from the celestial skies, and be equal to us down here. And she was like, okay, if that's what it's going to take for me to get him back is to be one of y'all, cool. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this grid's frequency up to my level, and that's how I'm going to resurrect him. You not finna keep me walking around here bare without my gifts forever. It's just not gonna happen because I'm here for a purpose. So let any glimpse of my memory come back in its own. And they was terrified, but they still did it because they don't have the same type of knowledge of the divine cosmos that she does or her children do. If they did, they wouldn't have did it because they would have known it's nothing but a suicide mission. Okay. So she took her elements off and she allowed herself to be placed in the third dimension for a particular task. Now, Orion's belt is the three great mothers, Barbelo, Pistis, and Sophia, but it's also the trinity to the mother, the father, and the son, or the child, because it could be a daughter too. What you doing, girl? Okay, so I'm gonna read to y'all the keys of Enoch. It's in the page 43, 7. 4 and 3 make 7. Seventh number of the alphabet is the G, which is God or the OG, the original goddess, and the original God. Okay, numbers are very important. 105, key 105, that is 6. That is the keys to the manifestation. All right, so the key to our astrophysical time zone is the 3-in-1 alignment of consciousness forces in the Great Pyramid. With the 12-in-1 energies of time marked pyramids centered and controlled by the many-in-one. Who is the many-in-one? That is the divine source, the divine mother, and the divine father. The throne energies of Orionis and the Pleiades. Okay. I'm going to read a little bit out of here so we can get the backdrop on why I'm telling y'all this. I was going to go into a physics definition of time, but that's okay. I won't do that. I don't want to get over my head or y'all heads or whatever. Just to be base with it, I'll say this. The alpha and the omega are one. So the divine masculine and the feminine are one. When you break down time on the level of science or physics, it tells you that in order for the frequency to be open to time or outside of time, you would need to basically create a void or a portal of chaos. Okay. So she is the goddess of destruction and birth. In order to exist in this realm, both things have to happen. He is the destroyer, she is the creator. All right. Now let's continue. This key is speaking directly of consciousness programming. It is telling us that consciousness programming is connected with the pyramid grid, which is referred to in mystical scriptures of the ancient Near East and as the foundation of stone. The consciousness pyramid forces of the Great Pyramid are cued with specific star points which are working with planetary time warp areas. In order to understand what time warp areas represent, we must have to understand the time warp fields as a type of energy pyramid. First, we must look at the geophysical time warps of the Earth with the meridians drawn according to the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. We note that these magnetic areas of Earth's grid, Earth's magnetic field, as well as the solar flares caused by the sun's celestial movement meet at certain energy points or vortexes. First of all, the mother was telling me that we're past the time of hiding. This is the full seal being overflown. And if you don't know, I'm gonna tell you the planets are different celestial wise when they are connected with the source, the mother and the father together. Okay. And so what this is telling you is that the pyramids that they are telling you to connect with operate within certain time warp zones. The zones that we're talking about on a geophysical level is talking about the Earth's time meridians, okay? Now, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, this is talking about the North and the South poles, the lunar North and South poles. If you don't know, the moon that you're looking at today is not the true moon, okay? That is a light that is being shined into the planet. What is it? Is a projector. That is not the real moon. It's not the real moon. The real moon lives within the Divine Mother and her emanations. Those women who harbor the true eternal cosmic waters. The water that you get down here, this is not the cosmic water. This is still her source, don't get me wrong, but the cosmic waters flow through her rivers. Now, the real divine moon lives within women, the divine mother and her emanations. Now, I was born on a Monday, so was my daughter, okay? The goddess, or should we say Amun, my name at the end, you spell Mona backward, it spells Amun. She is the high priestess down in this realm, meaning she can interpret both the unseen and the seen. She sits between two pillars, one of darkness, one of light. In the middle, she is the Eye of Ra. She is the one who tells Ra what is going on up there so he can act and put the enforcement down below. But he can't do that if he is not if he's not resurrected and he's still asleep. Now, the north and the south gates, okay? The pole switch that they talking about, they keep saying, oh, when the pole switch happen, it's going to be mass extinction. Now, that is true, very true. This is why you need to be very careful with how you speak in regards to the divine feminine or the divine masculine in this time, because your frequency is aligned with what you speak. Remember, I just told y'all in the beginning of this video, this new age of Aquarius is the I speak, so I am. So what you speak is the same sword that is going to be drawn back against your ass when this event takes place. Okay? Now, the divine moon or the holy waters. This is the return of Mu. Okay? So we're talking about tropic. It says here on page 43 in the Keys of Enoch, according to the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Now, if you don't know, which I know y'all don't, I'm going to just tell you. My north node is in Capricorn and my south node is in Cancer. Okay. Why is this important? Because everybody knows who's who based off of their frequency. Okay. But mine's is the frequency that opens the gate for the universe and Earth's grid. That's that. Let me see 1 second. Okay. And so that's important for me to say because we know if you ever watch any of Bobby Him and stuff, he talks about it more in details in regards to how the mother. I actually shared it in my community section. Go look at that video. Check it out. It's really, really short. So if you don't like long videos, perfect. He tells you that the mother is the one who gives birth to the father or the son through her south gate, which is in Cancer. Now, back to the tarot or to the hieroglyphs. The Cancer is the 6 and the 9, the masculine and the feminine, and together that is the Chariot. They make the Chariot, which is also the seventh card in the tarot deck. Seven, the original goddess and god. OG, seventh letter of the alphabet. All right. And the solar flares caused by the sun. That is the sun. Remember the story about Set and Horus going to war with Set behind him killing his father? This is the celestial way of breaking this down because her son is the one sending these solar flares. Yes, it is her in her masculine vessel because we know the sun radiates at the operation of doing. But this is her, and this is her son. That said, it's up, in a lamer way. So let me go here to this scripture because I want to read about this right here. Okay, so I'm gonna jump down. It's okay, yeah, I'm gonna do 5 and 6, and I'm done with this one. So it says, what is not shown on the mappings of the vortex of the time warp zones is their connection with the stars and the ancient astrophysical stations upon Earth. This is telling you about the Egyptian pyramids, the ones that are here in the Grand Canyon. They not the ones over there. Those were just copycats. And if we consider the star fields giving the mappings of where Earth's biosphere is as a water prism stands in relation and given star fields, we will understand why the ancient Egyptian texts refer to the Oshkosh. I don't know how to pronounce that word, y'all. I'm butchering it, but whatever. Why the Great Pyramid was aligned with the three stars in Orion's belt. These are the central thresholds controls or the region of positive programming used by the Elohim, Lords of Light, connected to the many galaxies to our Father Universe. Within our galactic quadrants, these thresholds control the necessary coordinating celestial navigation between universes. Through the energies of Orion, these central control thresholds. Threshold is another word of three. The etymology of the word thresh starts off with three. Okay, Trinity, it's the central control. The higher beings of light move across the deep waters. I just told y'all when it talks about the tropics, and don't it doesn't say this nowhere in the book. This is spirit to spirit. This is how you know who's who. Um, the waters of the real moon, the divine moon, or should we say Mu, the waters of Mu, the original Mu, Shakini, you cannot stop this return of Mu. Go watch that video if you need to. Um, it's the feminine waters, the ones that run through the celestial feminine on this planet Earth. Okay, and so when it talks about it's talking about the coordination between the two. In other words, this is the Big Bang Theory celestially explained to you. It's telling you about cosmic sex. That's what this is. It's two planets or two planetary regions, or should we say two stargates colliding and creating. Now, let's see here. Let me continue. It says here. Within our galactic quadrant, these threshold controls are necessary in coordinating celestial navigation between universes. Through the energies of Orion, the central thresholds, the higher beings of light move across the deep waters. We must also understand the Palladians cluster as one of the key centers for propagation of the light. The Palladians is the constellation, in the constellation of Taurus, is not to be thought as a separate threshold control for the measurement of the planetary systems. But according to Enoch, the Pleiades is the measurement for all key time clocks, all astrophysical temples of measure. These time clocks on Earth are located on magnetic grids focused into the pyramids. Basically, what this is telling you is that the Pleiadian star cluster is the blueprint. We already know this because I read it on this channel. If you go back to the glossary, it'll tell you in the Keys of Enoch that the Pleiades is the blueprint, Orion is the threshold, or should we say it's the keys, it's the gateway that you walk through. Pleiades is the blueprint. What is blueprint? A blueprint is the original format, the original Adam and Eve on Earth, okay? When they are in a celestial manner, they are the bodies of the three gates in Orion's belt. But once they come down to the physical plane, they become the seven seals. Because in order to go back up the bridge, the seven seals on your back or the seven stars in the Taurus constellation have to be open and ignited together. What we know about that is it happens through kundalini frequency. This is not to say that if you don't have a mate, you're not going back to the celestial realm, but I'm telling you that your seven chakras must be open. In order to open them, the very important chakra that got to be open is the third chakra, which aligns with your belt. Okay, so the keys to Orion's belt is literally telling you that as above, so below. Within you, it would be your third chakra. And it's the third chakra of the universe in Orion's belt. There's many universes, but to this universe, okay? Now, in igniting that, I'm about to bring it up for you. Igniting your solar plexus. I did a whole lesson. Go back and watch the lesson that I did about the solar plexus because I explained it here. I'm just going to briefly talk about it. I'm gonna go with now. This is very important for sexuality and sensuality. Okay, the goddess Kali and Shiva. I'm gonna tell you about that next. So it's telling you in this article, the main energy channel that the Kundalini energy travels through is between the spine. Okay, it's telling you that this frequency comes from where within your spine, but it is Shakti energy. Who is Shakti? Another emanation of Kali Ma. We know this already because I've said it on this channel. Most go sit down. So now we're gonna talk about the goddess Kali Ma. I'm all the way here because while me doing what I was told to do through law is cosmic, because the Kundalini in the right person, the mitochondrial Eve, turns him into God. And when gifted with the beauty of full creation, a child, you create another God, okay? When the right format is created. Now, sensuality and sex, confidence of being sensual is very important and pivotal to why patriarchy came, or should we say the invaders came to this planet and tried to tell the women that they needed to fully cover up, be submissive to the man, and not be sexy or not use sex as a weapon and all this other ass shit. And the reality is you can't tell the source how to source because she knows when her mitochondria gets turned on, she'll know exactly what to do and how to move. Because remember, she came down here to awaken her masculine self because of what were doing to the divine feminine. In order to turn her man into God, she had to sit on him and make him a throne. This is why you hear Beyonce saying, "Let me sit this ass on you, show you how I feel." That song right there, she was talking about celestial. It wasn't just surface, let me sit this on you. That's not what it was. She was telling you about the dance, the cosmic dance. So when you talk about women covering up, you are only exposing yourself as a part of patriarchy's code. That was the thing that they used to hide against her. Anything they weaponize, you better know it's one of the strongest weapons. Because when you're operating in the true nature of self, you know better than to be tacky or tasteless with how you move with it. So regardless to how a person feel, this is what gives you life. You get no life without generating. Sex is chaos. Remember, I told you scientists define it through physics. Opening up a portal to dismantle time is creation and destruction at the same time. When a woman gives birth, do they not have to be in a certain position? Don't their cervix have to be paper thin? In other words, the veil has to be thin. Celestial wise is talking about the veil that protects you from solar flares, electromagnetic shield. But once that's gone, now we're working with a new creation, but it's still destruction at the same time. All right, let's talk about Kali Ma and Shiva. So here it says the goddess, which represents the chaotic, fierce chaos. This is what physics. Go Google physics and type in what it would be to thin the veil, and it's gonna tell you chaos. Literally, no bullshit. I read it to y'all before on this channel. Yes, daughter. Okay. No, I'm not letting you go out there. Okay, so it says chaotic, fierce aspects of life is referred to as Kali. The depiction in this image frequently includes her form colored in dark tones, as has unruly, toused hair. I'm not looking for that. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So it says here the relationship by destruction, Shiva represents an inseparable component of cosmic cycles. If you don't know, Messiah did not come back to be kind. That's not what his name was about. Period. He came to destroy the false system that put this planet in its state that it's in now. He is the sword. He is the destroyer. Go watch my video series and Pluto Long Lost Twins. Play with somebody else. Because I've been on this shit. This ain't new to me. It's just happening in what we call time right now. So I had to bring this shit back around and give it to you on a deeper level so that when you see the mother in her fullness and free as she should be, because this is a free will universe without shackles of patriarchy, talking about something that's too sexual or warned against sexual energy. Get the fuck up out of here with that shit. Yes, daughter, you want some water? Yeah. And so anyways, so let's go back here to where we was talking about Shiva. Okay, so it says here, okay, where Shiva and Kali merge into androgynous deity, Shiva appears on the right side and Kali on the left. Very symbolic. Symbolizing the inseparable bond between the masculine and feminine cosmic forces. He is the South Pole, she is the North Pole. Their union is further illustrated in the cosmic dance of Tavata, where Kali's dance of destruction is halted only by Shiva, highlighting their dynamic interplay of creation and destruction. This divine union teaches profound lessons about cyclinal nature of life, urging us to embrace both creation and destruction for balance and growth. All right, I'm looking for something else. This ain't the right article. Let me see. So here we go. Shiva in the Shivanite tradition is the all-pervading, eternal primal consciousness of the universe and beyond. It is upon the ultimate, unchanging, timeless reality of Shiva that Kali They saying that Shiva represents consciousness and Kali represents time. Does her dance, causing the constant cycles of creation, life, and death in all things of the universe. Shiva is the substratum upon which Kali acts. Hence, in this part of Hindu spiritual traditions, the entire cosmic reality is represented by the dance of Kali, time upon the changeless, all-pervading consciousness, Shiva. So it's telling you that Kali or Shakti or the kundalini, she is the cosmic dance. Okay. So when she dances, the earthquakes. That video I just posted originally was posted on July 29th. That same day after I posted my video, timestamp was on Instagram because that's where I posted that. The land of Mu, the extension of Mu, go look it up. Hilo, Hawaii had a tsunami, and that was when we had the 8.8 earthquake in Russia. The same day, same time. Go look at the timestamps, okay? This is cosmic. That's why I will not let nobody get in my way of doing what I'm doing because the Father needs to be risen. Because once she takes the timeline and frees us from prison, he can come and do his job, and his job is not creation. There's that. And so yes, so I'll try to be in on this. So during the new age, I speak about this on my video, the grids and the multiverse, where I talk about the grids and I talk about what the new age would look like. It would basically be back to the magician. The keys that Enoch tell you is when society is able to make connection with the pyramids in Egypt. Well, the real Egypt is here in the Americas, and it ain't talking about society. It's talking about when the mother is able to resurrect the father. Because remember the video I did, Blasphemy, I told y'all who the invaders were that went into them spaces of Osiris and Isis's thrones. I said it in the group chat, showed y'all proof. And shortly after, those two areas and some other areas were on fire. Why? Because fire purges. These are the Egyptian pyramids, the real ones, okay? And so we're going back to the magician time, okay? That is a time where your manifestation will not be slow. What does the new age look like? What does the new earth look like? It's the I speak, I am, where your gifts manifest instantly. You will not have to wait for anything because the prison that we were in will be free. So the feminine, because she is first, she must be free first. So if you ever wondered who the invaders were, they are the ones putting shackles on her while she tries to gain her freedom. That's that. Because her freedom is what gives her the confidence to create. When my children are extremely imaginative because they have no inhibitions. They're not even worried about a car hitting them if they cross the street without looking. That's how free they are. This is how all children are supposed to be. So when you create, you're supposed to be childlike. This is also no coincidence that the third chakra or the solar plexus is your seat of confidence. So if you believe it, you can achieve it. And in a time where your confidence is the beacon to open the gate, you don't need to be up and amongst people still talking that patriarchal bullshit about what the divine feminine is supposed to look like. The divine feminine is supposed to be free. The fuck you mean this is a free will planet? Why do you think the invaders came to this one? Because they could do what they want to do here. But it's because they do not harbor the androgynous codes of the divine that they take it and they misuse it or they pervert it. Remember, perversion is not her natural or his natural state. This is why the divine masculine, when you are amongst him in his 1 percentile, you will know because he is a protector of her and them children. And she could do what she wants to when he's in the room. He ain't gonna look at her different because she got a short skirt on. He gonna let her do her thing. because he's not a beacon of temptation. It's the other way around for the wicked. They brought those frequencies here. And it's not to say that you won't struggle with them. We're in that third dimensional paradigm. So, yeah, you will, but your soul pattern is not from this dimension. You were not a part of this Israel or the true Egyptians or the true Sumerians. You were not a part of this realm, this third dimension. You don't come from prison. That is why it doesn't sit well with you what's going on in the world. That's why it doesn't sit well with your spirit to be told what to do. That's why it doesn't sit well with your spirit to be out here paying bills and struggling and not having no time to create because you got to punch into a clock. That's why it sits with your spirit wrong when you see other people talking about this political system and their views and how important it is to vote. Because something in you is telling you, you don't come from this. You come from matriarchal codes that just reign supreme and patriarchy that respects it and follows it and understands it and opens up to it. So going back to the Egyptian is you having those four elements in your power and being able to use them with creation. You can't use them right now because the invaders are here, and the moment you get a hold to that kind of power, they're gonna make sure they snatch it from you. But once the timeline and the poles switch after this video drops, we will no longer have to worry about being in that time zone because it's over. So only 1% of the source is masculine. The invaders are mimic energies outside of design. The imprint of free will DNA is the remembrance. So you must remember who you are. Natural order, without it, you get distortion. So if the divine feminine is not able to operate in her free will, the entire planet is in chains. And we've seen that already because even if you don't believe in the divine feminine as God aspect and you believe in just the Father and she's a part of it, however you believe it, it doesn't matter. Just think for a second. Would God need to be in chains? Why would God need to be in bondage of any form? No, we know the story already. And we know that they place the female last. It's two things this grid, this mimic grid hates. One being so-called blacks, two being women. That's directly after it. So who's God? Who is the source? All right, so sensuality of the divine feminine is the resurrection of the masculine. So her being able to have the confidence to do what she's naturally gonna do. Like at the end of the day, somebody said something about my photos and how I posted them and what I look like, and I can't hide who I am. I could be fully clothed in a potato sack. You still gonna see the curves because they're naturally there. I'm not a small girl. That's that, you know? So at the end of the day, why would I try to dumb that down? It sounds like the Hebrew cults where they tell you women can't speak. That's what it's giving to me. And so Kali Ma dances on Shiva to resurrect him. Her freedom is what resurrects him. Because if she don't believe in her soul and her spine, if she get any little increment of doubt in there, it messes up the manifestation. So she cannot doubt what she's doing and who she is. She got to be fearless, effortless, flawless. And here I am. And that's her right. That's her law. So when a woman is free, she awakens the gods through the kundalini. If you ever seen a picture of Hathor, she got the cell in the middle of her crown. The two horns represent the bull of heaven, Inanna or Ishtar or whatever deity you want to call her. And then in the middle is a red particle, or it's sometimes the seen and is green. Either way it goes, it's showing you she is the holder of the mitochondria. She is not waiting for her throne. She is the throne. Her remembrance is what makes the throne energies appear on earth. Hold on, y'all. I had a list written down on how I wanted to close this up. And so this is done through the sacral as a form of creation, but the solar plexus is the seat of the kundalini. This is the solar seat that lights the way for all of the chakras above and below. So even the ones below, the kundalini has to touch it to ignite it, to unlock it. So once hers is active, she can open Orion's belt, the three great mothers, the cosmic keys. So she can open that in multiple three forms. She can open it as a mother here below, or she can open it as the cosmic womb or the connection between the two. You ever notice the superheroes always have their symbol on their belt line? That's showing you that's where the power is at. Sex is the most powerful thing on this earth. So sensuality and sex go hand in hand. And igniting that is the reason why you see the 3D grid use it and mock it. Okay. That's why they told you don't do it, because they don't want the real divine women to get a hold to their power. This is gonna wake up Osiris. And Osiris didn't come to do listen, y'all heard what Abdullah told you he came to do. That's Osiris is multiple. He's not just one emanation. He came in a multi-body just like the mother did. And why does this matter now? Okay, so the closing is why it matters now. Your sensuality is your freedom. It's cosmic DNA activation. It awakens the masculine and it turns him into God. Other people resist this because they are not the true and divine. It just is what it is. So if they were the true free will flame, they would not root for your freedom. They will root for your freedom even if it challenges them. And that's just it, you know. If they're not rooting for the freedom of the mothers, then they're not of her seed. That's just that. If you still talking about patriarchy's rules in this time, you don't belong in the divine seat. And it's just, hey, I didn't make the rules. I listen. I'm just the messenger. You know, I am the great mother. So technically, in my cosmic formation, I did create the rules. But in this third dimension, I'm being used to speak it back to y'all as her full form. I'm not just speaking it, I'm also doing. I'm gonna end with the scripture in Revelation 22. Because this is how it's going to look. So Revelation 22 in verse 12. Oh, no, I'm going to start at verse 11 just because I'm going to give you a little more meat. So he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And which he is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. He that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I will come quickly. My reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. In other words, destruction and creation. Blessed are they who do his commandments, because you remember the commandments belong to the Father, okay? He got them from the law. The law and the command is different. That they may have the right to the tree of life. He is the one who says, okay, you can go up to meet my wife when she come around the mountain. You can go greet her. Let me make sure you clear. Do you pass security clearance? Where is the you know how the bouncers outside the club scan you with the wand? That would be Osiris. He scanned niggas with the wand. Let's see if you have what it takes to go up to the upper aeons to where my wife and the tree of life is. Because at the end of the day, we done already seen that it's been too much sorcery going on to mimic what was divine, and I'm not gonna let you do it again. Once he awakens, you think she finna let him go back to sleep? Fuck no. And so that's the closing for me for this video, you guys. I hope I was able to explain it well. Um you know, at this period, we're not asking for the throne. That's not the timestamp we're on. We are declaring, we are bringing forth victories. We at the point of awakening. They howling at the moon, and that's that. You know, if you know, you know. And I want to end this with be at peace, my people, because it is your right to be free. And freedom is not something that you should have to fight for. This place was created for you to have all of the resources that you need. Just be. And now that these scrolls are dropping and truth is aligning, it is going to hit the cosmos like lightning because he said, "Behold, I come quickly." And as he hears her frequency dismantle timeline through cosmic formation, oh, you finna see some shit. So y'all be at peace and get excited. Even if you don't really know the way this thing is going on a bigger level, keep your spirit clean. Keep your eyes open for truths, because what resonates with you will awaken you. And that's how you will know you are of the divine seed. Y'all have a good one.